Welcome to the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, where we don't take from insurance companies. Here are your hosts, Mr. Jordon Comstock and Mr. Ben Tuine. This podcast is sponsored by BoomCloud Dental Membership Software, www.boomcloudapps.com, and Veritas Dental Resources, www.veritasdentalresources.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another exciting episode of the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, the Say No to PPOs series. I am your host today, Jordon Comstock. Ben is out working while I'm playing, so I got Alan Mead to be my co-host today. Alan, what's up, man?
Nice. I'm good. How are you doing?
Doing good.
I've always wanted to be a co-host.
Well, now's your chance, man.
Okay, perfect. Good.
So Alan is, if you don't know Alan, I'd be pretty surprised, but Alan is from the Dental Hacks podcast. And Alan, how long have you been doing that podcast?
Like 4.5 years. Can you believe that?
4.5 years, man.
Yeah. This June will be 5 years. We started in June 2014. So
and Jason, did he start that with you?
Yep. We were right there both together in the beginning. So yes, we were almost at 5 years. Crazy.
Wow, man. Kind of like, so Ben and I obviously started this podcast, and we've been doing it, I think, 2.5 years now.
Yeah.
Almost 3. Gosh.
Time sure flies, right? Like, how crazy is that? Time sure flies.
It goes by pretty quick. So awesome. You guys have done an awesome podcast for these 4.5 years. I know a lot of people listen to you guys, and I'm bringing Alan on our show today because Alan is one of the organizers of Voices of Dentistry, along with Mark Costes, and who else does that, Alan?
Jason and myself are hosts, Mark Costes, and then Dr. Justin Moody of the Dentist Implants and Worms podcast. So the four of us sort of have put this on. And then the first one in Tennessee, which will be 3 years ago. Yeah. Is that right? 3 years, 2017, 2018, and 2019. Wow, yeah. So the 2017 meeting was in Tennessee. And so Justin joined us last year as a host. And the first year, Dr. Sean Vandeviver was one of the hosts. So Sean was on board for the first one. He has a lot of kids. And like literally, his wife was pregnant during that one, and that was one of the reasons he decided he couldn't continue to host the meeting, because he's just got a lot of kids. So of course he's super active in the podcast space and everything. But so we've had 5 hosts, but we have 4 now. It is January 25th and 26th, which means literally the day we're recording, it's 2 weeks from today.
Wow.
That we start.
Yeah. Super awesome. Yeah, I remember
Scottsdale, Arizona. It's at the DoubleTree Resort in Scottsdale, Arizona. Same place as
last year. Yeah.
Yep.
I went last year, and you're having a bunch of speakers. There's a list of speakers.
Yep, there is a list of speakers. If you want to see all the people that are going to be speaking, go to voicesdentistry.com and scroll down. There's a long list of speakers.
What
go
ahead.
Everything. Topics. Everything. I will say this: clinically, we're pretty heavy on 3D stuff and implants and sleep. Okay. So if you're into clinical stuff, there's a lot of speakers that are on talking about digital dentistry, implants, and sleep dentistry and airway dentistry.
Very cool.
But there's also quite a bit of business stuff. We do have some social media speakers. We have I'm
assuming Jason's going to speak about social media. Didn't he do some marketing stuff?
He is. Yep. Yeah. He's going to do that. We have. I think Dr. Stephanie Zeller is going to talk some about that. We do have some team stuff. Cool. We have some practice management stuff. We have a little of everything. The cool thing is this year we're a little different than this year. You look at that list, you're like, man, that's a lot of speakers for 2 days.
Yeah.
It's because we twisted everyone's arm into doing TED Talk like talks. So they're short. I think the longest talk we have is like 30 minutes or something like that.
Oh, that's nice.
It's 20 or 30 minutes. So basically, you got to bring your A game if you're speaking here, because you don't have much time. And we did that on purpose.
No, I love that. I love the concept.
Well, and we'll see. If it works, maybe we'll do it again. If not, we can switch it out. But I liked the idea of having a lot of different speakers speaking for a short time. We'll see if that works.
That's really unique. Well, so I was just at a conference last week for dental speakers, right? And, man, they had like one speaker that was on for like 3 hours. And I'm like, man,
I'm dying a little bit.
Like, I'm done. Like, half hour, for me at least, is wonderful. Plus, you get all this good content packed in 30 minutes. Because I know most of these speakers, looking at the list, like Mark Costes is an amazing speaker. Reese Harper, another Utah guy who's a good friend of mine. I know he's a fantastic speaker.
He's terrific. He's got a great podcast too. You'll notice too that a lot of the speakers are involved with podcasts. Basically, all of them are involved with podcasts. It looks like
I'm looking at most of these, and they're all most of the people I know.
If they don't have their own podcast, it's that they are sort of in the orbit of podcasts. For instance, okay, Dr. Jameson Spencer does not have his own podcast now. I think. This is a rumor, so you can't pin it, but I think he's starting one. But cool. He's been on the Dental Hacks multiple times. And he loves podcasts. He's obsessed with podcasts now, and it's one of these things where it happens, right? Like it happens. You realize that it starts with the listening. How long have you been listening to podcasts?
How long have I been listening to podcasts?
Yeah.
I've been listening to podcasts for years. Like
I started in 2006. Yeah. I had an MP3 player called a Rio 500, such a thing, and you would have to hook it up to your computer, and you'd have to download it. Actually, I used that for audiobooks. So like I would have books from Audible.com. Then my first what was it? It was an iPod. It was like one of those chunky, big iPods.
Chunky old ones, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And you'd hook that up to your computer, and then that's when I started listening to it. So I would download podcasts on that. And so the first two that I ever listened to, one of them is called The Skeptic's Guide to the Universe, which is like a scientific skepticism show. It's still going. So it's like 15 years or something. And then the other one was a Harry Potter podcast put on by a bunch of high school students called Mugglecast. That was awesome.
Is that where they act it out and they have voice actors?
No, this was back when like the 6th book was just getting ready to drop and stuff. So like and the movies were coming out. They had so much to talk about. It was just in Harry Potter theories and fan fiction, and it was like these nerdy high school kids. And what they did for me was both of these podcasts used round tables. So they'd have people Skyping in like you and I, but they'd have 4 or 5 people. And I thought that's what podcasts were. So when we started the Dental Hacks, and we started with the Brain Trust, where we have like a round table of dentists, upwards of 5 people. That's what that's what I thought podcasts were. So we sort of stole. Nothing's original in the world, right? So we just kind of stole the way they did it, and we talked about dentistry instead of Harry Potter, basically.
Yeah, no, I think that's awesome. And what made you want to start a podcast? Because you own your dental office, right?
I'm a dentist. I practice in Saginaw, Michigan. I have kind of a tiny dental practice, and I honestly, it's a 40-minute commute one way, so I drive a lot, and so I got to have time. I got to fill that time with something. It's either music or audiobooks. For the longest time, it was audiobooks. I was like. For Audible.com, I was like, I think I was one of the first 200 people that subscribed.
Seriously?
I say that. I'm not even kidding. I say that seriously. There was a point where you could buy an all-you-can-eat kind of subscription, where it was basically you paid one yearly fee and you just got all the books you could stand.
Oh, that's like Netflix, but for Audible.
It was. They stopped that when they changed it, and they actually sent me this had to be 2005, 2006. They sent me a letter saying, here's the deal. This is how we're changing it. You were one of the originals. If you really want it, we'll leave you the way that you are. I should have taken them up on that, but I didn't.
I would have.
I didn't. I'm like, no. I believe in the concept. I'm happy to, and I'm still the guy who I think I pay him $250 a year, and I get like 30 titles a year, and they let you roll the titles over. And since I have podcasts, I don't download so many books anymore.
Yeah.
So it's kind of cool because I'm a huge Audible.com guy, but also that's where I started, and then I listened to podcasts forever. And I didn't really start looking for dental podcasts that early on. There was one.
Who was it?
By the name of Dr. Wes Blakesley had an AGD podcast, and his podcasts were pretty good. They I don't know if he's still making it or not, honestly, but it was kind of through the AGD, and then I think the first like regular dental podcast put out by someone that wasn't like the first one that I heard regularly was Gary Tackett. He's sort of the
Podfather.
He was there first.
Everyone knows he's the Podfather.
And then I think the second big one would be Dr. Dave Malloy, the Relentless Dentist.
Oh yeah.
And then
Dave.
actually Dr. Grant Ritchie and Dr. Jason Luchtefeld had one called the Prism Podcast, which was actually more scientific skepticism. There was some dentistry in it, but it was but I knew that it was dentists that did the podcast. And then Dr. Bilal Saib had the Passionate Dentist. And
is he still doing that?
He's off now. He'll probably come back eventually, but he's been off for a little while.
Yeah, I remember getting on his show years ago.
And those two podcasts, the Prism Podcast and the Passionate Dentist, were the first two that I was ever on. And I think that's what made me say I could do this. Like I could do this. And then we started soon after that.
What was the topic why did they have you on the show? Just to talk about your practice, or what was do you remember?
Okay, so what did I talk on Prism? On the Prism Podcast we were talking about oh shoot, let's see. I'm gonna just go look. Yeah. I'm gonna go look because I got iTunes right in front of me here. We talked about it might have been there it is. Okay. It was a long time ago. Let's see.
Like over 5 years ago.
Yeah. Okay. 2014. So this was it. It was May. Okay. Here it's okay. So Alan Mead sits in with Jason and Grant. We talked about anti-fluoride nonsense, the NCCAM nonsense, which is the national. That was it was basically kind of alternative medicine stuff, and then beer misinformation nonsense. I should probably listen to it. It's been more than 5 years. So that was that one, and then I think I talked a little bit about recovery on the Passionate Dentist back then. I think I've been on his show a couple times too. So, but we had a good time, and what I realized is I could do this. I could do this. And it was not long after that I pinned Jason down to being my partner, and so we started.
Jason's not in the same state as you, right?
No, he's in Virginia.
Yeah, and you're in where were you?
Michigan.
Michigan. So, how did you guys meet each other?
Okay, so he wrote a book a long time ago called The Social Media Dentist, and so he was in early on the whole social media thing for dentists.
Yes.
And so I kind of knew him from Facebook, and that's kind of how that happened. And interestingly, I contacted him because I was doing a kind of a social media for dentists course in Michigan at the Michigan Dental Association meeting. Mm-hmm. And I stole a bunch of his stuff. He basically told me all his stuff. He let me use it. And so he's very knowledgeable about this stuff. Still continues.
He is. He's very creative.
Yeah, he is. He is very creative, and he knows a lot about this stuff. And I stole it from him. So we were kind of friendly on Facebook that way. And then we met at a course at Cosmoden in Chicago. In 2013, we met at a Jason Smithson course. And of course, interestingly, literally, we just released this morning a podcast featuring Jason Smithson. We've interviewed him a bunch of times. He's been on the show a million times, and so we've just got this kind of thing that we started. And so we met in 2013 at a course. A bunch of the people that were taking the course literally have been on the show since then. It's just that was sort of where the bomb went off, and everything kind of started in our heads. So by June 2014, I think it was September 2013 that we met. I bugged him long enough to actually just do it. So it's cool. That's how we started. Super cool. No, that's awesome. I always like hearing the foundation stories of podcasts or even businesses, right? Yep.
Because a lot like Ben and I, right? We were part of a networking group here in Utah with some dental business consultants, and decided that we just liked hanging out with each other more, and our topics kind of relate, right, with reducing dependence on PPOs and all that fun stuff that practices, majority of practices want to do. So I'd like to know a little bit about your practice. Are you a fee-for-service practice? Do you work with lots of PPOs? What are your thoughts on PPOs?
We are out of network with everyone except Delta Premier.
Delta Premier, which always seems to be the case.
Yeah, that's the last one. And interestingly, Delta. Okay, so Saginaw was a big GM town when I got here. It's less so now, but there's still a lot of GM retirees with similar benefits. There's a lot. It's not nearly the percentage of my practice now that it was when I started 21 years ago. But so that's the only one we participate with anymore. That said, they still take quite a bite. You know what I'm saying? They still take.
Are you allowed to say what they take?
I can tell you just in general. I just looked at the numbers for 2018, and our overall. Well, it's not fair to do because I think probably it's 20%. I'll bet you.
Okay.
Which is actually interesting. When I've heard other people talk about it, it's better than a lot of people. I'm shocked.
The average PPO discount across the nation, according to Ben Tuine, since he looks at all this data all the time.
He might know these things.
Yeah, the average I think is like around 45% discount.
Oh, hey, so we're killing it. Right?
So 20% is not bad if you ask me.
Well, and you know, I'm the opposite of every dentist you've ever met, because everyone wants to grow their practice, and I kind of want to shrink my practice.
Yeah.
Which is to say, I mean, I love doing dentistry, but I kind of, everyone wants to say, I just want to do the big cases on the people that pay cash. I'm like, that's cool too, but I actually want to do whatever is necessary on the patients that I really like.
Yeah.
And that really like me.
Yeah.
And basically, I just want everyone else to go away. That's pretty much what I want. So, because the story is, you know, I got into dentistry in the golden age of being a dentist, which is to say, I did not have the student loan debt.
Yes.
For kids.
Yeah. Was it Jason
my
that
practice,
posted?
my practice, and my student loans, everything's paid for. I mean, I have a loan out on my business or on my building, and that's even half paid for. So like, I don't have the nut to crack that a lot of people do, and so I just don't want to work that hard.
Yeah.
That makes me terrible. The other thing is I like to do podcasts and talk about dentistry, and it's, you know, it's one of those things where, so I'm trying to kind of shrink my practice a little bit. Yeah. Maybe someday someone will come in and buy my practice up and decide to make it bigger again. But that's not, you don't hear that very often in dentistry, but that's kind of, I'm almost more aiming towards a happiness-based practice rather than growing and doubling the practice. And so I mean, certainly that's a good thing to do if that's what you want.
Of course. And I think that is a good mindset, right? Because you're probably focused on making your patients happy, yourself happy, your family. I don't think there's anything wrong with that, especially since you like to contribute in dentistry in a different way, right? And that's helping. Yeah.
No,
helping
and actually, I'm exploring lots of the different things that I can do with it. That's the thing. You know, there's a lot in my mind. We talked about Jason being a creative type, and I have to say I'm a creative type too, because I'm the guy who I have to remind myself that not every idea that I have is a good one. Not every interesting thing that I might want to explore in a podcast space or in a website space, something like that, is a good one. Because my mind, I get the fever for stuff. But we're continuing to expand what we're doing. You know, we may well end up doing another podcast coming out soon, another episode per week. We're already at 3 episodes per week, so we're looking at potentially a 4th episode. You're the first person I've told that, by the way.
Oh, nice.
That we may be the Brain Trust, which is that roundtable I was telling you about, may end up becoming its own podcast where we have like a regular episode and a Brain Trust episode every week, because we're pretty good at recording those, and those are some of the favorites. Like, people really like hearing other dentists just talk about real dentistry. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I would imagine that would be a beneficial type of podcast to listen to. Well, it's like the what do they call them when you go to like a live conference? They call them the
panels. Yeah,
the panels. Yeah,
exactly.
I always like listening to panels.
Yeah. Especially when they're not the big, although I will say this, the guys from Spear, Adam from Spear, we've been working a lot with Spear lately.
Cool.
And Adam loves the concept of the roundtable, and he's like, how about if we just got you, Frank Spear and Greg Kinzer and Jeff, all these guys, and we'll do a Brain Trust with them. I'm like, oh my God, that'd be the coolest thing ever. Now, I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I mean, we got to talk to Frank and Greg last year together, and it was a real treat. It was really cool. But like, the idea of having a regular Spear roundtable with all their people talking stuff through, I'd love to hear them get in a fight, and I'll just sit there and listen. That'd be awesome. So I'm sorry. Go ahead. I keep stepping on myself here. I don't even remember what we were talking about.
No, we're just having a good time talking about dentistry and podcasting.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. Well, I guess my point being, there's a lot. I want to do a lot of things. I just have to make sure that they're good things. Like, I want to make sure most of the time the stuff I've come up with has been pretty good. Yeah. But I got to be careful, because maybe not every idea I have is a good one.
Well, I think I'm in the same boat. I try to, since I've started my company, I'm like, you start having these other ideas, right? Or other people come to you with other ideas, and I'm like, you know what? I think I'm just going to focus for a little bit here.
Yeah. It's hard. Yeah. The funny thing is, for me too, like, there's a lot of, so we started the Dental Hacks Nation, which is a Facebook group, and it's got like almost 26,000 people. It's a big
you guys have a
group,
ton.
And more than that, it's really interactive. I mean, there is a lot of
you guys. I'm a part of that group, and I have never seen a group that interactive.
Yeah, it's
with each
crazy. Like people, I mean, it's not. I mean, I'm not going to say it's Dental Town, but it's like
Yeah.
we have lots of posts every day, and we have like I think our stats are something like 70,000 replies per 70,000 posts per month or something. It's just like, this is
Wow.
crazy, and I don't even know what that means exactly. All I know is that people will ask me, so did you see this on the Dental Hacks Nation? Like, no, I can't
Yeah.
possibly follow everything that's
can't-
going on there. I know it's my group, but I really can't. In any case.
Yeah,
I
no,
had no idea that was going to happen. We started it because it was going to be like, hey, let's have a Facebook group for people who listen to the podcast. Well, clearly, I'd love to think that 26,000 people listen to the podcast every week. But guess what? The numbers don't lie. That isn't what's. So the Dental Hacks Nation has a life of its own. And it doesn't, as much as like the big joke, you've probably seen it. The big joke is, oh, you guys have a podcast? Because like the podcast was there first, but it's sort of its own thing now.
Yeah,
well, shoot, I never knew that was going to happen. I had no idea.
yeah.
So like there's these things and frankly, trying to use that as a tool and as a jumping off point is probably a great idea. I just like making podcasts. That's kind of like what I don't know what, and Jason knows more about that stuff. We've been talking about this. I'm sort of like, how about I just focus on the podcast and you, focus on all the social media. Brilliant. Exactly. I mean, it makes sense too, because that's where I'm good at this end of it. Not that he's not good at it, but I tell you what, from the beginning, I've always been doing the editing and the recording and stuff because I just did.
Yeah.
And so 5 years later, I've got tons. I mean, like I got a postgraduate in recording podcasts basically because I've been doing it for so long.
Yeah.
So yeah. So this is it. But to be honest, the footprint of the Dental Hacks Nation is much larger than the podcast. As much as I'd like to believe the podcast is the big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, 25,000 and growing is pretty crazy. Never had any idea it was going to happen.
That is pretty crazy, and I mean, it's I like seeing the groups like you guys as a group out there because it does offer a lot of value to the dental industry and building a community. I think a community is pretty cool to do in any industry, if you ask me.
I agree.
Obviously, it has its pros and cons, but I think it's what you guys are doing in the dental industry is pretty cool. But that's coming from a guy that used to be, a lab guy, so I don't know if that means anything.
Well, but okay, so just so you know too, there's a lab podcast that's coming to the Voice of Dentistry.
I noticed on the
Voices
Facebook.
From the Bench. So you need to make sure you guys need to be on each other's show. His name's I don't know, it's Elvis. I don't know if his Barb. I'm not sure if Barb's going to be there or not. There's potential she's not going to be able to make it, but. I was just talking with him. He's going to be doing a live podcast somewhat similar to you guys. You guys are going to be doing a live podcast as
cool.
well.
Yeah.
From the live podcast stage. So you guys should be on each other's shows because he's a lab technician who is basically, I think they might be the only real podcast in the dental space.
Because I'm pretty conscious about the dental lab industry and especially in the podcasting space because
Sure.
my dad and my brothers still run the lab, right?
Yeah.
And I told my dad the other day, way before I knew, maybe it was a few months ago, I brought my dad on the podcast when we hit like 100 episodes or something. And because I wanted to expose my dad to this side of the industry, right? Because he's kind of old school.
Yeah.
But I told him, I'm like, man, it seems like there's like no dental lab podcasts out there. And then until you, the other day, you started the Facebook group or the Facebook chat. And I noticed that, is it Voices from the Bench? Their podcast.
Yep, exactly.
That totally sounds like a lab podcast, by the way.
Yep.
They always talk about their benches.
Yep.
So I
Nice
saw that.
bench,
Man, it's nice bench. No, I remember one of our denture technicians would always complain about his bench because he's like, it's too short. I need my bench higher, right? They're always talking about they're really picky about their benches. I don't know what it is.
Jason and I were at DS World, and I mean at DS World you walk around and it's like a toy store for dental nerds. And at the very, very back corner of the floor, the exhibit floor, there was I don't know if I think it was a Dentsply Sirona product of some sort. And it was just lab benches, right? And you're thinking, okay, I could barely drag Jason away from that. He wants a lab bench in his office so bad he can taste it. I mean, he was talking with the guys like, oh, what can you add all this stuff? I'm like, dude, so he likes doing lab work apparently. I don't mind doing lab work either, but to be honest, it takes a certain kind of crazy to want to do lab work.
It is. I hated it.
Yep.
I mean, once digital dentistry started coming in, I actually started enjoying dental lab stuff, but I always like technology and the business side of dentistry, rather than
what's so funny is
clinical.
it's changed a lot. Like it's changed
It
a lot.
has.
Like for instance, your dad has to employ lab technicians.
Yeah.
The person he's hiring now, I don't know your dad's lab, and I'm pretty confident the person he's hiring now is a lot different than the person he was hiring 15 years ago.
Oh yeah. So he's now. So my dad's complete digital now. He's got CAD CAM machines, and so when I started in dentistry, I learned how to cast a gold crown, right? And everything. It was really good. And I remember, winding up the cast machine and having that metal fly out everywhere and like burn holes in my shirt, right? I'm like, man,
exactly.
This sucks, right?
If you didn't in dental school, if you didn't have some burn marks on your lab coat, you weren't
trying hard enough. Yeah. So back when I started,
he's all digital.
Yes.
And
digital.
dentists are trying to get all digital.
Yes.
And so the people that he's going to hire to be able to essentially design crown and bridge to be milled out of pucks, instead of castings. I mean, most of the time. I mean, I know there's going to be people that hold that skill set, but there's less and less.
Oh yeah.
And I think to myself, I'm like, what about like people who design crowns remotely from milling? I mean, it's like the industry's just there's a lot of potential for weird change, right?
Yeah, and I mean, when I was at the lab before I started Boom Cloud, we saw a lot of just weird change, right, in the lab arena, right, where we saw lots of labs just shut down like overnight here in Utah.
Yeah.
Which was kind of nice for us because all of their clients would just find us, and we because we were adapting. And I think that's a smart thing to do, even for dentists, right, is to see the changes in dentistry and adapt with those changes. Because I swear, if we didn't adapt to digital technology on the lab side, that my dad's business would have been out of business. And it got close until we started switching things over, and now they're doing awesome, right? More than they've ever done. But I think adapting, especially to the digital technology, is extremely important, even on the dental side, because patients are conscious of the technology, right? And they want to go to that office that can mill out a crown right for them and things like that. So that's kind of
I think some patients are. I think the beautiful thing about dentistry is that
you got segments, right?
There are some patients that but on the other hand, patients want to know that you're high tech. I think there's very few patients that know specifically what that necessarily needs to be.
Yeah,
I got microscopes. I got microscopes on the wall in my office, and each on four of the operatories, and each one of them has a camera. That is an analog technology if there's ever been one. I mean, it is lights and lenses, but I got a camera attached to it. That's a digital camera, so I can show them the image. They think that's the most high-tech thing in the world. It's really funny. It's not. It's actually not very high-tech at all.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have a scanner and everything too, and they're just blown away by scanners and such. But I do think that patients want to know that you're not 1960s technology.
Yeah, absolutely.
They don't really know what cutting edge is. Maybe a few of them do.
Yeah.
Like if they've had a CEREC milled for them in one office, they'd probably notice if you weren't milling chairside in another office. But short of that, I think it's not that hard nor that expensive to seem high tech to a patient. In a lot of ways.
No, I totally agree with that, because there is a lot of technology in dentistry, and like what you said, you're not very high tech technology. They seem like it's high tech.
Yeah, it's
the way you present it.
It's part of how you present and how you. I'm coming to realize too that it's so funny. I think after 20 years, you start not patting the blow as much as you used to about stuff. Patients know it. It's like this is horrible, but and for young dentists, it's not very fair to say, but I'm like, I think I've got gray in my beard, and maybe I don't care as much if they do the treatment or not, and they can tell. It's great, man. Yeah. It's awesome to be a mid-career dentist that just doesn't care that much, not that I don't care about the patients, but I'm not going to sell it that hard, because I don't care. If do it or don't do it, I don't care. I mean, I got it next. I got other stuff to do. So and I mean, it's so funny. It's bordering on abusive to the patients, and they freaking eat it up. They love it because I seem confident in what I'm talking about, and I don't have enough time to just hold their hand through the whole thing, apparently. So
Yeah, I love that. I think that's a good attitude to have.
well, and I didn't come by it except that I'm just older now, older and grumpier.
You're older and grumpier. Like, I don't even care.
Pretty much. Yeah.
Hey, that's a good thing, right? So
I guess.
I guess. No, when you get older, you can do anything you want, is what I hear. So
kind of.
I'm guessing you're entering into that stage.
I hope I can hope.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, Alan, it's been awesome having you on our show today. So
yeah, this was a blast.
I want all of our listeners out there to know that I will be at Voices of Dentistry. What Alan and the guys that organize Voices of Dentistry do, I think it could definitely benefit all of our listeners out there. I went to it last year. Last year was my first year going to it, Alan. I really wanted to go to Tennessee because was it in Nashville?
It was in Nashville.
Because I love Nashville because I'm a music guy, right? So I'm like, man, I really want to go, but I couldn't make it happen.
Yeah,
the first year you guys did it, but last year I went and I listened to a lot of the speakers, and it was fantastic. I sat down and listened to Gary Takis, who's a good friend of mine, and the Podfather, right? And
yeah,
I thought he did really well.
Yep.
Everyone loves Gary. But then I also listened to Jason speak about marketing, and because I'm also a marketing. I love marketing.
Yeah,
and I think more practices should learn about marketing. Well, at least the ones that want to grow, right? The ones that are okay with their size, like you, Alan.
The grumpy old man. Don't have to as much, yeah.
Yeah. So, but I just think that Voices of Dentistry is just a really cool conference, and it's unlike any other conference that you. It is.
It's totally different. It's totally weird. Yeah.
Yeah. It's totally weird. Yeah.
Like in a good way. I mean, that's sort of the idea. Yeah.
Yeah. No, last year they had the giant posters of you and Jason with those.
Yeah.
And they're taking like selfies.
Apparently, you can't give CE with like brand names up on the stage. Like they frown on that. But I'm like, yeah, but we had our faces retracted and everything. It was awesome. But yeah. So I'm afraid we can't do that this year. They won't let us put the giant.
Did you have like the CE police guy there or whatever?
Something. I don't know. We didn't get in trouble for it, but apparently the rules say that you're not supposed to put giant retracted pictures of Jason and I on the stage. But hey, their loss.
I thought it was a wonderful marketing strategy.
Yeah,
because it made people laugh, and anytime you can make people laugh, that's a good thing in my opinion.
So there's karaoke this year. So clearly you're going to be doing karaoke.
I'm going to be doing karaoke. Well, I need to bring my guitar then.
Feel free, but work up a song or two. We're all kind of doing that. Some people need to drink beforehand, some don't. I'm planning on being on stage for karaoke. Jason does do karaoke quite often. He's pretty relatively serious about his karaoke. I am not, but I'm pretty convinced I'm better than him. So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll be the judge of that.
Yeah, we will.
No, that's awesome. So I encourage everyone to go. It's January 25th and 26th. There's 16 CE credits over the 2 days. Super cool.
Yep.
And then there's a ton of speakers. Go to voicesofdentistry.com and go register. I think it's going to be a fantastic conference. And plus, I would love to hear from our listeners as well.
Yeah, you can podcast with Jordon.
Yeah, come and hang out with me and podcast.
All the podcasters have their gear there. So if you've ever said, I want to be on a podcast, you can totally podcast with, we'll have gear. Everyone's got their gear there.
Yeah.
And you can hear Jordon do a live podcast from the podcast stage in the tent.
Yes, awesome. We'll be doing a live podcast. So appreciate everyone listening today. And Alan, thanks again for coming on our show, man.
Of course. Thank you for having me.
It's always a pleasure talking with you, and I look forward to seeing you later this month.
Yeah, we'll see you in a couple of weeks.
All right, rock and roll, everybody.